Charles with the Exodus Logistics Learning Center, America's #1 dispatcher and freight broker training. Last night we had freight broker training, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Tuesday. Tonight we are, and there were guests in there. Tonight we're having dispatcher training for beginners, and guests are welcome. Come in as a guest. The link is through our website on the Dispatcher 101 Zoom calendar page. You can get the Zoom meeting ID and passcode to get in there for the guests to come in. If you want to learn about being a freight dispatcher, if you want to understand what's involved in being in dispatching, guests can come in, ask questions. Come on in, free. Come on in, guests. Ask your questions. Primarily ask questions, but you can always any other transportation level type question. Okay, but primarily you ask the questions dispatching, but you can ask questions about freight brokering. You can ask questions about trucking. You can ask questions about warehouse distribution, intermodal, drayage, customs brokering, any of those questions as well. So ask your questions. Freight broker, dispatching, trucking, intermodal, drayage, any of those questions. So, okay, ask your questions. But tonight mainly is the Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. Okay, Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. So our theme tonight will be on dispatchers, right? But again, you can come in as a guest and you may have a dispatching question. So, okay. What is transportation? Hey, LaDonna, good morning. LaDonna, you up early. Early bird gets the worm, right? So again, tonight, oh, and by the way, LaDonna is wonderful. She's the moderator for both the dispatcher and the freight broker trainings, the Zoom trainings. She's on the channels. She's the queen of the network. The queen bee, right? She moderates everything, makes sure everything's in order. You know, because they say without order there's chaos, right? So so I want to thank LaDonna personally. LaDonna's been there with us since day one. So talk about loyalty, right? So yeah, always loyal, always there. So yes, but again tonight, Wednesday, July, I think, what is this, July 9th, I believe? Yeah, July 9th. We're having our Dispatcher 101 training for beginners, Zoom call, live Zoom call. Guests are allowed to come in free, ask your questions. Free. Did I say free? Mention the word free, right? So that's America's favorite four-letter word, free. Don't have to pay a dime. Come in and ask your questions. Get any questions that you want answered that you may be on the fence about for the transportation industry, right? You may be on the fence about being a dispatcher. You may be on the fence about being a freight broker or a trucking company, or you may have questions. You may be struggling in your current position in logistics, right? And you need some answers, right? So come on in tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to our website, www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. Hover over the header Dispatcher 101. It will drop down to a subtext links, and the first one is called Zoom calendar. Select that one, and in there will be the Zoom meeting ID and passcode. Okay, and that's how you get in. So yeah, it can't be free. Hey Karen, Karen's a student. So I got students coming in. Great. You guys are up early. I didn't expect anyone to be up early on here, but that's great. The interactive part is great, so that's fine. So, so yeah, come and ask your questions. Come and get your questions answered. For those of you who are guests, free. Okay? Can't express the word enough, free. Last night we had freight broker training. We got some questions answered on the broker side. Some very interesting questions, by the way. Hey, Dwayne Johnson. So good morning. So yeah, we have some questions on the freight broker side. We will have some questions tonight on the dispatching side. On the freight broker side, we related to the customer. The main question was, would it be beneficial for a freight broker, a 3PL, someone who arranges for the transportation of freight, to understand their customer process and workflow better, to be a better broker? And the obvious answer to that was yes. Tonight in the dispatcher class, I would assume one of the questions would be, would it be better for an independent freight dispatcher to understand the workflow of the carrier that they're dispatching for? You know, what is their day-to-day? How do they go about their day as a motor carrier, finding freight, things like that? For a dispatcher, would it be wise, or would it be good to understand that dynamic for your carrier? And I'm assuming that the obvious answer is going to be yes. What dispatcher would not want to know how their carrier's day-to-day operations are, to better understand how to find freight for that carrier, where they're going, what's their cost, what's their bottom line, what's their expenses, what their limits are? So, yeah. Okay. LaDonna, if you don't mind, can you put the direct link to the Zoom calendar page in here as well? So that would be the question, one of the main questions. Thank you, LaDonna. So would it be wise for, and I think it will be wise, what dispatcher, again, would not benefit from becoming a better dispatcher than providing a service of understanding and a adding value of understanding the dynamic of your carrier? So when you can leverage that and use that as a selling point when you're trying to get carriers. You can ask them, hey man, what's your day-to-day operations as a carrier? I'm trying to understand how you go about being a carrier so I can provide a better service for you as a dispatcher. And that's going to be an icebreaker, because it's going to start the conversation, right? And carriers hear that and say, man, this person is really interested in, providing a service for me. Maybe I should give them an opportunity. If they ask a question like that, there has to be some level of interest in, helping me with my bottom line and things like that. So we'll discuss that. We'll touch on some certain points, certain concepts, and go over there, right? So everything's still the same. Dispatcher one-on-one training for beginners. Still do the same cold calls. Still have the same templates. Still teach you about the load boards and strategies. By the way, one of our newer students, Douglas Lapsley, just got his first carrier the other day, and I'm assuming he's going to be on tonight. Hopefully he will. He's the one that does website design very well. If you guys want a website done, I'm actually thinking about having him redo my whole business model, right? So that's how good he is. So I'll definitely promote him because I've seen his work. So, but yeah, so he got his first carriers, and we were talking yesterday about how to find loads for the carrier and things like that. Now he's waiting for the carrier to return the paperwork that we normally send to truck drivers prior to dispatching for them. And those of you who are students on here know what that is, know what that paperwork is. The dispatcher agreement, which is the contract between you and that carrier. The carrier profile, which is the carrier's requirements of you as a dispatcher. And the limited power of attorney, which is the carrier's way of authorizing you to sign the documents to onboard them and book loads for them on their behalf. Right? So, same things, same paperwork, same documents. We just got to put the work in. right? So, but again, go to www.exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. Guests are welcome tonight. Today is Wednesday, July 9th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are having a live Zoom call, Zoom training. So, all right, half the year is over. We're in July. 2025 has gone. Where has it gone? Right? What is going on? We still have the tariff situation. We'll touch on that a little bit as well. I have a first-hand view of it from the shipper's perspective of how the tariffs are affecting the supply chain. Okay, so yeah, but so I have the great distinction of giving you the perspective from every touch point, from the shipper to the broker to the motor carrier to the dispatcher. So I see and deal with them every day. So I just missed the question by the gentleman. I'll catch it another time. I'll see it. Asking about marketing and things like that. If I understand correctly, you're asking about how to market your. Oh, by the way, if you're on here, click the thumbs up. That helps with the algorithm, and the like button. Click the thumbs up. I see 6 people in here, so click the thumbs up to help with the YouTube channel's algorithm, if you don't mind. It's not a requirement. You don't have to, but if you don't mind, okay. Anyway, how do you see the market going? Will it improve? Your idea, please. Yes. So once the great question. I'm glad I seen it back up. So, so in everything in life, there's what's called ebbs and flows, ups and downs, right? Right now, because of the right. So, between the goods, when we ship goods overseas to other countries, we are charged a tax, what's called a duty, right? Which is a tariff, tax on import. So when our goods are imported, when our manufactured goods are imported into other countries, we are taxed tremendously for that, or we have been for years. Well, the Trump administration has said, well, I'm tired of this. It's our turn. Let us tax goods coming into this country from overseas and kind of make that money back. And I agree with that. It's just not fair. But the timing of it is where I have the problem, right? It's bad timing, and it's affecting the economy in such a way that it's hurting the consumer, right? It's hurting us over here because some of those goods are needed by Americans. So, okay. So, yeah. But the tariffs is kind of a good idea in one sense to get our money back from overtaxed foreign countries. But it's a bad idea because it's hurting the economy for Americans, right? So the Trump administration needs to find a balance with that. And it has not done it yet, right? And the American consumer, taxpayer, John Q. taxpayer, is paying the price for that, okay? It's hurting their pockets. The rich and the wealthy are fine because they're rich and wealthy. But the average citizen is hurting because they're the ones who more so needs the goods here in this country than anyone else, okay? So, but again, tonight, we'll cover that a little bit tonight. I didn't want to be on here too long. We'll cover that tonight. I'll see you guys tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. Again, free to come in for guests. Students are always coming in, so that's no issue with free for students, but free for the guests. Come in, just log in, get your questions answered, and I look forward to talking to you and seeing you guys tonight. All right? Enjoy the rest of your day and be safe.